committing evil. Whether it is a soldier or some low level bureaucrat, the job of all law enforcers is to forcibly inflict the will of the ruling class upon the general public. Nonetheless, most imagine that as they do so, they are serving the people. Of course, the idea of serving someone by initiating violence against them is ridiculous. Consider the oxymoron absurdly named Internal Revenue Service, which does nothing but rob hundreds of millions of people in trillions of dollars every single year. Rather than ever considering the possibility that what they do on a regular basis, participating in a system of aggression and coercion, is immoral and uncivilized, most state mercenaries, from the paper pusher to the hired killer, simply say they are just doing their jobs and imagine that that absolves them of all personal responsibility for their actions and the result of those actions. This, above all else, has been the downfall of human society. Most of the evil and injustice committed by human beings is not the result of greed, malice, or hatred. It is the result of people doing what they are told, people following orders, people doing their jobs. In short, most of man's humanity to man is a direct result of the belief in authority. The damage done by the merely obedient is just as real and just as destructive as if they had each done it from personal malice. Whether an old lady is robbed by an armed street thug or by a well dressed, well educated tax collector makes no difference, morally or in practical terms. Whether a family in Iraq is killed by soldiers of Saddam or by soldiers of the US government makes no difference, morally or in practical terms. Whether someone's personal choices are coercively controlled by a neighbor thug or by the police makes no difference morally or in practical terms. The only difference is that the authoritarian thug, as a result of his delusional belief in the mythical entity called government, refuses to accept personal responsibility for his own actions. His belief in the most dangerous superstition renders him unable to recognize evil as evil. In fact, he will feel proud of his loyal obedience to his master as he spends day after day inflicting hardship and suffering upon innocent people because he has been taught for all of his life when it comes to that when evil becomes law, it ceases to be evil and becomes good. In truth, if anything is a sin, it is blind obedience to authority. Acting as an enforcer for government amounts to spiritual suicide. Actually, worse than physical suicide, because every authoritarian enforcer not only shuts off the free will and ability to judge, which make him human, thus killing his own humanity, it also leaves his body intact to be used by tyrants as a tool for oppression. To be a law enforcer is to willingly change oneself from a person into a robot which is then given to some of the most evil people in the world to be used to dominate and subjugate the human race, wearing the uniform of a soldier or the badge of a law enforcer is not a reason for pride. It should be cause for great shame at having forsaken one's own humanity in favor of becoming a pawn of oppressors.